Previously on Ballz.
We're going to go to Top Odds now. Top Odds are our backers on Bollocks. They provide everyone with an astonishing video of me talking with about sports betting. If we go to topodds.com, www.topodds.com, we go to the green menu. We go down to soccer and click on there. We're going to talk about the resumption of the English Premier League mostly today because, if only because, some very interesting post-transfer window signings will be debuts this weekend in the English Premier League. Man United versus Crystal Palace. Marouane Fellaini, the Belgian, signed for Man United. He was their only big signing. They did try for several others. David Moyes, in the British press, is being lambasted for his failure to make more top signings. He ended up just signing one of his old mates from Everton. But I think it was 27 million, was it? Which was a little bit over the top, I think, for Fellaini. Brandon, are you there?
No, not yet.
Right, okay, we're trying to get hold of Brandon from Top Odds. So Man United v Crystal Palace. Well, Crystal Palace have also got new signings. Kagiso Dikachwa.
Yeah.
He'll be returning from the Botswana game. What do you
Apparently, Will is supporting Crystal Palace because of Kagiso Dikachwa.
Well, I'm supporting Crystal Palace anyway. Anything against Man United, mate. But yeah, no, it'd be nice to see KG keep his place on that side. They did sign two midfielders in the transfer window, Crystal Palace. Brandon, are you there?
Yes, Neil. Hi.
Brandon, there you are, mate. I'm just talking to people. I've explained that www.topodds.com is the place to go down the green menu, down the left, go to soccer, go to England Premier League, where very at the top of the list, the early game on Saturday, as we resume after the transfer window, we will be seeing a lot of brand new signings playing for their clubs this weekend or coming on as substitutes or bedding in with their clubs. At 12:45 in England, at 1:45 in South Africa, we'll see Man United versus Crystal Palace on DSTV channel 203 on SuperSport, where Manchester United will field Marouane Fellaini, their only signing of the transfer window, and Crystal Palace will see their new signings, and we'll see if Kagiso Dikachwa, the South African, maintains his place in their promoted side in the Premier League. Your odds on Man United and Crystal Palace I've got up, and obviously Man United are favourites at 2-9. Crystal Palace 11-1 with World Sports Betting 23-2 with LM Bookmaker. Take us through it, Brandon. What do you think? Is that a good bet?
Well, in the Premier League after an international break, I don't know if you as a punter can ever take 1-5 or 2-9. A lot of those players at Man United are international players. They've been out of the squad. They played on Tuesday to come back now and play on Saturday. It's never easy. Betting World are offering the best odds there on Crystal Palace at 12-1. United should win at home, but I don't think I'm jumping on and taking the 1-5. So early after international break.
Mate, although they've had an international break, Wayne Rooney managed to rest throughout with a little bit of a hole in his head. I don't know if he'll be available, but he looked like he healed quite a lot. That huge gash on his forehead caused in training with one of his teammates. The lad Jones did it, didn't he? And so Rooney should be back. Robin van Persie scored twice for Holland, for the Netherlands on Tuesday as they qualified for the World Cup. So we're looking at a situation where all these top stars will be back for the international break. And like you say, I can't see Man United losing at home to Crystal Palace, can you?
Definitely not. What I do want to draw your attention to is the Sunderland-Arsenal game. I mean, the big signing on transfer deadline day obviously was Mesut Ozil. I don't know if he's going to be available. I don't know if Wenger's going to throw him in. But Arsenal, if you have a look at that game, I know they are away at the Stadium of Lights. But 7-10 offered LM Bookmaker. Betting World also 7-10. World Sports Betting a little bit shorter, 6.5-10. Jeez, I don't know Paulo Di Canio. I'm not a fan of him.
No, me neither.
I'd be on Arsenal in that game.
Yeah, I think this game has taken on. I don't think I've ever seen as much hype. I know I'm an Arsenal fan, but so much hype around a great signing because Mesut Ozil actually played very, very well for Germany. I had lots of messages from Spurs fans saying he'd broken his leg, which was complete bollocks. And Mesut Ozil scored and also made a goal for Per Mertesacker, his Arsenal teammate, playing for Germany. They won 3-0 twice over the international break. And we're looking at a situation where the whole of Europe, I think, will be looking very closely, and the whole of Africa for that matter, at Mesut Ozil's debut at the Stadium of Light against Paulo Di Canio, who I personally, I'd rather not. He wasn't involved in English football, but Sunderland, they'll be mid-table, lower mid-table this season, and Arsenal really have to get a win there and parade this Mesut Ozil signing, and show us that they didn't need to sign a striker in the transfer window, which they failed to do.
Well, I mean, the way you've been talking, I mean, if he can get the Arsenal fans to lift their spirit, I mean, what impact does he make on that squad? I mean, they know they've signed a quality player, and maybe Ballz, he'll get you 20 goals with a guy, who is as creative as Ozil. So I think it's a great signing for Arsenal. I think, Wenger had to do it. If he didn't, one more loss and he might have lost his job. So I think it's a great signing. I think 7-10, great odds for Arsenal. I think they'll win this weekend and they'll win well. And he might just get them a goal.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think over the last 2 seasons he's been the top assist provider in Spanish football. An awful lot of Real Madrid players came out and said how sad they were to see Mesut Ozil sold by the club in the wake of the Gareth Bale world record 85 million signing, and a lot of interest from Spain in if Mesut Ozil goes to Arsenal and produces the goods, particularly in the Champions League, but also in the Premier League. And Gareth Bale goes to Real Madrid and ends up playing at left back, like some people are saying, and not being, better than Cristiano Ronaldo, which I don't think he is. Then it'll be a fascinating signing. They almost had to sell Mesut Ozil quite quickly towards the end of the window. The big German that I always said they'd sign a major German on the last day, and they did. But imagine if he turns out to be the player of the English Premier season and fires Arsenal to a trophy after 500 years without one, and also performs well in the Champions League. Real Madrid are going to be left with a bit of egg on their face, aren't they?
Well, most definitely, but I think they had to get some money in for what they expended on Bale. I think it was way too much money for a young man, I think they'll come short. I don't know if he'll be there in 2 or 3 seasons' time. I don't know any English players that have actually succeeded in Spain and can come back and say, gee whiz. I remember, well, it was before my time, but I mean, Mark Hughes going there for a season and coming back to Man United. So I don't think it suits English players.
Well, that was when Terry Venables was at Barcelona then, wasn't he? And Hughesy went there and he scored a few goals. He went to Bayern Munich as well, didn't he, at that time? But Steve McManaman went there and scored for Real Madrid in a Champions League final. David Beckham went there. I thought he played all right, towards the end of that championship winning season. Beckham did all right. But you're right, there's no great record of English players going and thriving in Spain quite as much as they do in the Premier League. And Clint Roper, the guy from Soccer La Duma, he always tells me Spanish football's superior. It'll be fascinating to see how Gareth Bale gets on in a side with Cristiano Ronaldo. Is there room for 2 of them breaking down the left?
Oh, they're going to have to make room for that. I mean, Bale's got to play in the first team and the second team to make up the wage that they're going to pay him. So he's going to be out there every week.
The ironic thing is that they also had the Iron Man, as we call him in South Africa, Isco, also likes to play down the left. And since his transfer, to Real Madrid from Germany, he's also been doing very well. So they've got 3 left-sided players, who not left-sided players, but players who often break down the left, all playing at Real Madrid at the same time. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch Real Madrid, but also to watch how Ozil fits in with the side. Arsenal, the closest to a tiki-taka Spanish-style side in English football, maybe with Swansea. They also like to play that way. And we're looking at a hell of a debut this weekend. That's 4 o'clock our time. And I think that's the DSTV 203 game. And you can click on... So you click on your www.topadds.com and you can click and put a bet on Arsenal at 7-10 with Ellen Bookmaker and 13-20 with World Sports Betting. That means you put £7 on and you get £10 back, for a win against Sunderland. I think that's fair enough.
Well, just to move away from Arsenal, I know you could talk about them all day, but to me the bet of this weekend is Chelsea. I mean, they're away at Everton, an Everton side that hasn't impressed. They haven't scored a goal. I know they haven't conceded, but geez, the quality of Chelsea. I mean, they're offering 13-10, Alan Bookmaker, Chelsea away from home. That's a massive price, in my opinion. Like I said, first week of the season, you're not going to get 12-10 Man United again, and you will not get Chelsea at 13-10 against a poor Everton side, in my opinion. They've just lost Fellaini. I think that is an absolute steal. And if you're a punter, click onto Top Odds. Click on Alan Bookmaker's tag, go through to his website and grab the 13-10. Grab it.
Right. I'm just looking at it because I've got to say that I thought Everton spent well in the window, and Roberto Martinez, their new coach. David Moyes obviously gone from Everton to Man United. He took Fellaini at the last minute in the transfer window, but don't forget they did get hold of the lad Lukaku at the last minute from Chelsea. And Everton have made some good signings, but I think it'll take a while for that to bed down. And I've got to say Chelsea to beat Everton. Yeah, bet of the weekend.
Most definitely. I would be taking the double. Arsenal and Chelsea, I think they stand out. Mourinho will have that side ready to rock and roll like he always does, and I think they'll win. I think they'll put 2 or 3 past Everton. And Martinez will still be without a win at home.
Yeah, agreed. All right, mate, just give us a very quick rundown on the Springbok New Zealand betting. Do we need to look at that?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I hope the punters took advice last week and got on South Africa.
Yes.
Although I know that a lot of South Africans bet with their heart and not their head, so there might have been a few quid on South Africa last week.
Yeah.
But this week is a whole different ball game. I mean, Eden Park, the All Blacks, number 1 and number 2 in the world. It's going to be a titanic battle. Gee whiz, and I can't split it. I mean, if you have a look at the odds, I mean, they've opened the spread up at plus 7.5 South Africa, which is massive in my opinion. I think to go to Australia and to break the Brisbane hoodoo, and then now to have no respect, for that Springbok side going into New Zealand. Geez, 9 to 10 South Africa plus 7.5's got to be a bet, Neil. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good bet. I think the Springboks looked authoritative in Brisbane, where they don't win very, and they'd never won before in Brisbane, and they don't win often in Australia generally. Okay, results-wise, Brandon, who's going to win it?
Yeah, geez, I think that New Zealand will win. I hope South Africa win, but I think New Zealand will win. I think South Africa will be in the spread. I think it'll be a close game. They won't walk away with it. Maybe a try in the last minute to break our hearts.
Sure, don't.
Very possible.
Don't, please. Okay, Brandon, we spoke. We've spoken about rugby all season. I think the Springboks are starting under Heineken Meyer to look like a unit that can get places at the next World Cup. I think even a narrow defeat wouldn't be too bad, would it, at Eden Park?
I don't think so. I think if South Africa can come away with a bonus point, maybe 2. I mean, maybe score 4 tries and be within 7, or only 1 bonus point, just being within 7 points. I think it sets us up for the Rugby Championship very well, because New Zealand didn't capitalise against Argentina like we did. So I think in the long term, it's going to be hard for the All Blacks to come and beat us. Yeah, if we play the rugby, we know we can play. So I think just get away with a bonus point, come home and win the Rugby Championship.
Yeah, absolutely right. Great stuff, Brandon. Thanks very much. Well, you're obviously on www.tokodds.com. We'll have this little chat up on your site later, so people can refer to it and click and bet, guys, on Top Odds Compare on Twitter. Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks a lot, Neil. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.
Cheers, mate. Right, yes. So there we are. Brandon's verdict: maybe a late try from the All Blacks to break hearts. That won't be very pleasant.
This is Ballz Visual Radio.